So when you look into the class participants, what do you see common mistakes are?
And mistakes. I think the mistakes start outside the door where people are afraid to enter in. So my background is obviously as a hairdresser. And I kind of treat everybody as if it's the first time when you come in, because you're only as good as your last. So if your last class is crap, you're crap. So firm believer in that. I think the mistakes start outside the door where they're afraid to enter. And you do have, friends in little huddles, and that stops some of the members actually entering because they think, oh no, I'm not part of the gang. I'm not. But that's what I like about here, because it's not like that. It's very much open. So I think for that, it's just people walking in. The nervousness is the mistakes. Techniques, all that stuff, that can all be worked on. Once people are moving safe, we're good. Once they're smiling, we're good. Once they're having a bit of fun, we're good.
So, you ready?
Go for it.
All right. Hello, Philip. Welcome to the podcast.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
So, would you introduce ourselves?
Ourselves? Do you have to introduce yourself too?
Let's go again.
So this is Oto. This is Philip.
You know what? We roll with this, okay? If you can introduce yourself, please.
You or me? I don't know where he's going with this.
Okay, you.
So my name is Philip, as you know. I'm a studio coordinator here at David Lloyd's in Riverview. I've been in this role only a couple of weeks. Previous worked in another club for about 15 years, doing Les Mills programs. Decided to take the leap of faith and move out, and I was lucky enough to land a Group X role here and absolutely loving it.
One can see. And you have mentioned to me that you have some background with martial arts?
Martial arts, yeah. I started when I was in school years ago. Kids get bullied and stuff like that. So only child. So I was coming home a couple of times and, very upset to the parents. And they brought me into a martial arts school in Dublin City Centre, where I studied Wado karate. Yoshi Ayazaki Sensei was my instructor. He was 6th Dan martial arts in karate, 3rd Dan in judo, 4th Dan in kendo. Very traditional martial arts. So I started that when I was 9. Then, went through the whole adolescent rebellion stage. So kind of left it and then went back and studied then Taekwondo. So I achieved black belt status in both of them. Really, really good. I think every single kid should be put into some sort of martial arts as they're growing up, not just for martial arts, but for confidence, for discipline. Mm-hmm. Like the tenets of Taekwondo, your values. It definitely made me the person I am today. It definitely made me the instructor I am today. It definitely made me the partner I am today and the father I am today, because it does ground you in certain areas.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And do you still practice a bit of that?
I do a little bit of it, but nothing. You don't get time, one stage was on the Irish Taekwondo team. So that was nearly like a full-time role, even though you were working. We were going to the Olympics. We weren't going to the Olympics. And when your passion's in it and it doesn't happen, it's a little bit disheartening. I would love to go back to Wado karate. Now, I found the Japanese instructors. I love the Japanese way. I love the philosophy of it.
Yeah, and their cars are good. And I like Japanese cars, as you know.
We'll have a German. A Volkswagen. So
yeah, good too.
I'll have to change that. But yeah, I think every single kid at some stage through their life should do some sort of martial arts in a proper martial arts club. There is clubs out there that wouldn't be affiliated. So my little one now, I'm hoping to get her into it. Now the mother doesn't like that, but I just think that would be fantastic for her growing up.
I really agree on that. Yeah, males, females, it doesn't matter. No. It's the discipline, it's the skill, it's is the control over the body, their limbs,
Yeah.
and they can use them for weapons. But it is really just the confidence.
Like even the tenets of Taekwondo is courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. And like you have to abide by them when you're studying the system, which is, you bring that into life. You just don't bring that into your martial arts.
You can't buy it anywhere.
No. And
Yeah.
it teaches you that values.
Yeah. Have you seen the Karate Kid when you were younger?
Of course it did.
We all did.
Absolutely. It was rubbish. When you look back at it now, you go, oh my God.
How could I like this?
Then they remade it where, no, don't remake it.
It's
So-
worse.
Well, it was Kung Fu, so it wasn't a Karate Kid.
Yeah.
So didn't like that.
Cool. And now, so you have a little baby, little girl.
Sophie,
And so how did it influence your professional life as a trainer, instructor?
you see things totally different. Like, I mean, I always used to hear people saying, you know, when you have a kid, you look at things different. Like, yeah, no. But like when this little one comes along and you're sitting there and the smile and you know that they're so helpless and they need you, you know, it relaxed me as an instructor is probably the best way. So when we were starting off in our journey of fitness, it was all about us going forward. How do we better ourselves? Where we started losing what it was all about. So I kind of found it again about 2 years ago. But then when Sophie came along, it just sealed the deal. Like when we teach classes, it's not about us. You know, it is about the people that's in front of you. And I also find that now, knowing if Sophie's not awake or if she doesn't sleep and she's, you know, I understand that when that member comes in, you know, into the club, that she probably had a rotten night and she needs some sort of pick me up. It's not about the workout. It's about the experience that we create in it. So I definitely think that's where Sophie kind of, as much as I lived by that before, it just stamped on it that that's the way it should be. That makes sense?
Yeah, you explain it really well. I don't have
Okay.
kids yet, so, you know, I'm always trying to, you know, get some insights.
Well, there was a kid crying the other day and you went, you've one of them.
Yeah.
No, kids are definitely, I mean, they do soften you. You do go into very protective mode. Very protective. Like, I mean, Sinead was there the other day. Sinead, my future wife. I'm getting married on the 5th of April, by the way.
Congrats.
Thank you. 6th time during COVID that the attempt was happening. Like Sinead there the other day went, she bled for the first time. And I was like, what do you mean she bled? And she's like, she only scratched herself, but there was a little bit of blood. So like, even when we seen her tears for the first time, and then when I heard like the protection that comes over you is just, you become like the Hulk. It's like, why'd she bleed? Who made her bleed? Did you make her bleed? You know, it's like, okay, calm down. So God help her, she's not leaving the house till she's about 40. No boys till she's 40.
Good luck to that.
Because I said to Sinead, if you see the Meet the Parents, you know the thing that he has down the basement with the lie detector? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So as I was saying that to Sinead, she goes, Philip, stop. And I said, I'm genuinely serious. That's going to happen with your help because you're into gadgets. So there will be a lie detector.
Cool. And how does that influence your sleep and your performance in the work?
There is no sleep.
How do you manage?
I was always a bad sleeper. So it's kind of nothing new to me. It was more interesting to see how Sinead was with it because Sinead was a 9-10 hour sleeper. Like straight through, earthquake, no problem. Now watching her in motherhood, she can go on an hour's sleep and still be an amazing mother. Now I know everyone says this, you know, she is amazing. Sinead is truly amazing. Like the kid is teething. Every mother knows about this. Kid is constipated. The kid is clingy. You put it down the cot, kid is back up, you know, and this happens 50, 60 times. For me, it's a little bit easier. It's definitely a man's world. It's 100% a man's world. I can go down and sleep on the couch, but Sinead can't. So Sinead is very accommodating with that, where you need your sleep, you're training, you're teaching. So
Yeah.
we have a good balance in that
I'm
sense.
sure she's missing the class as well.
She is missing the classes, but she's talking about coming over to team teach with me,
Oh, nice.
which I would really love her to do. Again, for her, for the experience as well for her and what she creates.
Yeah.
As you know, she's a fabulous trainer.
Yeah, I've seen her before.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, sleep is 0. It's probably about 3 hours a night, I'd say.
Wow. Okay.
Probably about 3 hours.
Fair play to you, man.
Yeah. So if
now-
I nod off now, just keep talking and I'll snore into the mic.
You still look good for 3 hours sleep.
Yeah, you wouldn't think I was 21 though, would you?
I'll be dead. So what I want to ask, what kind of classes do you teach?
So a mixture of classes. So body pump, as you know, and David Lloyd's are now after introducing these incredible new classes that are coming up. There's a gentleman called Benny Grant. And with his team, they're developing stuff like Spirit and Ignite. So we've just brought Spirit,
Which
that
I
you teach. You
I
teach as
it,
well.
yeah.
And Ignite.
In 2 hours?
In 2 hours. Ignite is incredible. It's just... It was hard to change at first because it's not programs that you've been teaching. But then when you actually start teaching, it was like, okay, I see the benefits of this. So he's great where he went very functional. It's very practical. It's not how high you can jump. It's for everybody, which is what I love about the class. It's for everybody. You don't have to be... I had a 75-year-old woman there doing a burpee, because she was shown the right way and she was included. I had another lady that didn't want a burpee, so she done her option. It's just great that you feel that everybody's doing. Everybody, it's for every event. I teach HIIT, cycle programs, looking forward to Cyclone, looking forward to Rhythm coming in. Yeah.
Blaze coming in?
Blaze, yes.
And you're a body pump teacher.
And a body pump teacher.
There we go. And body attack? No?
I was body attack.
You were, okay.
Yeah.
Body balance?
No, can't even touch my toes.
Okay.
I should be doing it.
Yeah, get to the Spirit class.
Yeah, no, I should be. No, I only got the Spirit sent on, so I'm definitely very eager to get in and try that.
So when you look into the class participants, what do you see common mistakes are?
Mistakes. I think the mistakes start outside the door where people are afraid to enter in. So my background is obviously as a hairdresser. And I kind of treat everybody as if it's the first time when you come in, because you're only as good as your last. So if your last class is crap, you're crap. So firm believer in that. I think the mistakes start outside the door where they're afraid to enter. And you do have, friends in little huddles, and that stops some of the members actually entering because they think, oh, no, I'm not part of the gang. I'm not. But that's what I like about here, because it's not like that. It's very much open. So I think for that, it's just people walking in. The nervousness is the mistakes. Techniques, all that stuff, that can all be worked on. Once people are moving safe, we're good. Once they're smiling, we're good. Once they're having a bit of fun, we're good.
So how would you encourage those people who don't want to come in? They just hesitate a little bit.
It's up to us to encourage them.
How?
Go talk.
Talk to them. Be nice to them.
Very simple talk. We're not these instructors that should be standing on stage like, look at me, look how high I can do. We should be inclusive with it, which everyone here is, which is great. They want people in the classes. I mean, I'm getting texts off the new instructors. Can you put this up for me? They're doing out their own templates. Oh, look, I want that. And I want how many's in it. They very much want to get involved. It's great that here as well is very community. It's very family, that we're allowed to be with everyone. They encourage that kind of feel. Have a coffee with them, have a chat, talk to them.
Yeah, I've seen this here.
It's great. It's so relaxed.
It is amazing, yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
it's just wow. Where obviously previous places, they didn't want that. Where here it's go out and be with them.
What do you mean previous place? The previous job?
Yeah, previous place you worked, they didn't want that. They it's quite ego, for want of a better way of saying it. Where here it's community, it's a club.
Yeah. I like that. We have this big area where people can sit. A lot of teenagers study over there after school. And I find it really fascinating because this is something which creates some really community, and it's a space where you can go and spend 3-4 hours. You can eat here, you can play tennis, you can do classes, you can go to gym, you can go to swimming pool, you can go to sauna, steam room, and now even massages are coming, new classes are coming. But just the place where you can sit down, put your headphones on, watch YouTube, or have a food, snack, grab a book, work. Like if you have someone work from home, so you go here, you can work for 2 hours, go for the gym for 1 hour, work another 2 hours, and then maybe, okay, go home then.
Do a class, whatever.
Because some people already, maybe their wife is working from home and they're already like a little bit of like on their own.
Like it is it's a very unique club, this, in that sense that everything, because we've had this conversation obviously because we've both worked in, similar places. The difference is it's parallel. It's worlds apart. It just feels community. It feels fun. It feels like you belong. Like we're all together. We're all doing the same thing. We're all here getting away from whatever. I mean, I don't want to enter the Olympics. I probably could for archery. That's about as far as curling. We're not here to enter the Olympics. We're here to have fun, move, get fit, have a laugh, de-stress, and go home.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
True. Yeah. As I always say, it's better than having a habit of going to the pub with your mates after work and getting 2-3 beers every time. It's come here. Actually, I see 2 girls. They must be around 15, 16, maybe 16 years old. They come after school, still in their uniforms. I was chilling the other day, and they, start studying for around 1 hour, and then maybe they finish their homeworks, and they come to my HIIT strength class.
It's amazing,
and it's also 2 of them working, going together. So there's that accountability factor. And it kind of reminds me when I was younger how I needed a training buddy. We always needed, well, not needed, but it was handy to have. It's good to have. And so I can see it here as well. People come in pairs, and it's like, keeping them accountable. When
I was teaching the early morning classes, it was something I've never seen in the others. There was guys, young fellas, 12, 13, 14, whatever age you are. I'm bad with age. But they were doing a workout, and next of all, they were in their school uniform going to work. Like, I've never seen that in any other club I was in. This is the club I've seen it. Like, they came in, done a workout, so they were obviously up at 5. Teenagers up at 5. That doesn't happen,
Wow.
They done a workout, they were in great shape. You seen them going down, getting their smoothie, their protein shake, and off to school they went in their school uniform.
I think they follow Rock and Mark Wahlberg.
Probably.
Possibly.
But they're 3 in the morning. They're crazy. It's probably a bit like you. You're that sort of person too.
I wouldn't wake up that early. I used to work too many years of night shifts. If I can sleep, trust me, I will sleep. I'll go and
You're probably up in your racing car.
I'll do it later. I will. I have to balance things because, now I'm very busy.
I know, you send me your schedule once a week.
I'm very busy. And I also commute between clients. So sometimes, because I work, let's say, 35 hours, that means almost between every client is 15 minutes of journey.
Has anyone reversed the podcast and asked you questions?
Sometimes it happens, yeah.
So Otto sends me his work schedule, and it's pretty impressive.
Well, because Philip always said, can you do these classes? And when he has a slot, he sometimes asks me. So, and I was like, sorry, I can't do morning. So every week I just screenshot my schedule on my calendar, and it's like, okay, well, if you can find a gap there, then you can text me.
I wish everyone's that organized.
Have to happen. It has to be.
Eden has his toilet time on it.
No, I don't. No. All right. So another question there. Where do you see the fitness classes trend going?
Here it's great because we're getting so many new programs. So obviously I'm just focusing on here. So I mean, at the moment we have 146 classes. We're going to increase more. With Spirit
this is per week.
Yeah, 146
per week.
Yeah, per week. Yeah.
Plenty of choices for people.
Massive amount of choices.
You don't get bored.
Everything from reformer to HIIT classes to cycle classes to swimming classes to tennis. And this is excluding all the tennis and excluding all the swimming. So actively in the studios, there's 146. Then we're getting Blaze, which is a HIIT program, 3 different stations. We are also getting Cyclone, which is a MyZone target based on watts. And we are getting Rhythm, which is a little bit more funkier, a bit American kind of cycle program where we use dumbbells in certain tracks. So, I mean, what a wide range of classes. There's something for everybody. And again, back to that's what I love about it. It's for everybody. It's not for the elite. It's not for it. It's for everybody. and everybody can feel part of it. There's no seclusion.
Oh, that's great.
So that's the love of this place.
So where is it heading then? So we go, like a few years ago we had the step aerobics. Now rarely anybody does it, even though there's some still demand for it, some nostalgia, I guess. But we kind of move different equipment or having more like functional classes. Do you feel a new trend?
I definitely think the programs are definitely going a lot more functional. And I'll just speak about Ignite. So Ignite then say track 5, we have strength and conditioning, which is also core based and strength and conditioning based. You know, where it's always at the end of a program in previous ones. And I was like, you know, people didn't really put that much effort into it. Where with the way Ignite has been developed, there's a lot more posterior kind of movements in it. Our chest is getting opened up more. We're standing taller because you know yourself, we're all hunched over. We're all on phones. We're driving cars. You know, we're all rounded. Me especially. I'm guilty of it because I mean, as you're growing up as a kid, you just wanted
need yoga.
I do need yoga. Again, and that's my insecurity of going into it. So I know exactly how members feel, but I need to go into it. So, but I definitely think it's going a lot more functional. It's a lot more softer on the body. It's a lot more longevity on the body, as opposed to let's knock the hell out of you in half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, you know, we want to be able to walk up the stairs at 80 years of age. We want to be able to put your shoes on at 80 years of age.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I think it's going.
Yeah, I do agree. Anytime I do classes very heavy, then I'm getting injuries. Like I could be pushing myself. I want to be leading by an example, and I want members to see that I'm pushing myself because I encourage everyone to challenge themselves. But almost every time, if I push myself just a little excess.
But you've always been so technical.
Well, yeah, but still, all I'm saying is that like the harder you train, the more you need to do stretches, massages, and all that stuff just to make sure that muscles are supple rather than rigid and fragile in a way of, rupturing them, you know?
See, we're starting to see that now as you get older.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like, I wish we were more educated in that back in the day. You know, obviously with martial arts was great because you had to be flexible, you know, but then when you get outside that, you just didn't.
Yeah. So when I was starting with the gym sessions, we were just a bunch of teenagers just entering the high school. And I was actually the youngest in my class. So I was actually not even 15 when I came to my high school. So, and that was my first time, like almost 15, but not yet. And we were in the gym. Nobody knew what we're doing. We just look what the other guys are doing and say, oh, well, let's do that, you know, basic stuff. But nobody give us education. I remember hurt myself a few times. And then, you know, training really maybe too hard. I was trying to almost destroy myself there, you know. So
that's what we're self-taught though.
Yeah. So having a bit of education, I always recommend parents with teenagers, with even kids, like, look, get them some lessons. Yeah. You know, it's the same with swim lesson, driving lesson. You know, everybody goes and having instructions. So it's the same for exercise. There are certain fundamental principles how the body moves, and you know, once you align yourself properly, activate the muscle properly, you're gonna maintain better spinal stability. You can move safer and more efficient. So eventually you'll be actually building stronger body.
We are educating ourselves a lot more though. You know, I mean, I notice with myself, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to lift that. Where the ego used to be, you know, at 15 years of age, I'm going to lift that because he is. What does it matter? You know, once you're moving safely. So what if it's 5 kilos heavier? It doesn't matter. Let him lift it. You know, I'll be 80 and still walking up the stairs. He mightn't be. So, yeah, safety, mobile, yoga, spirit.
Yeah. What about nutrition? Do you have some standards? Do you have some rules that you in your family you follow?
During lockdown 1, so here's my little story. During lockdown 1, I just didn't care. I ended up eating rubbish. I didn't move that much. Kind of lost my little way of fitness. And I actually put on 18 kilos. Wow. 18.
Wow, you really gave up.
I just didn't care. And like Sinead was working, so Sinead's a nurse, so she was working really, really hard. So then it starts, you know, you just lost your way. I was cooking dinner, I was tasting things, you know, the incidentals that I was just tasting. I was having a glass of wine, I was doing it. Like, what was I thinking? And then there was one day I just looked in the mirror and went, what the hell, Philip? You know, I felt crap. I was sluggish. I had to stand on a wheelie bin one time. I struggled to get on the wall. I was like, and the old joke is, you know, you have to hold your breath to cut your toenails. You know, if you have to, you know, if you're doing that, there's something wrong, you know. So I looked in the mirror and I thought, no, I've got to get myself together on this. So I hired a nutrition coach, Tim Meadows, fantastic guy. You'd know Tim from the Les Mills background. So he coaches. And the knowledge that he gave me was phenomenal.
So what did you learn?
Not to keep opening my mouth. No, just very, like the incidentals that I was doing was I wasn't counting them. So we went back to the basics of just calorie counting. So I'm very lucky now. I'm down 16 kilos now. 15. I have another 2 kilos that I want to lose. So we're very much tracking, watching, denying, no. Absolutely no denying. If you want it, you have it, but you hold yourself accountable for it. If you want to have it, you may train a little bit harder, you know, i.e. calorie in, calorie out. But before, when I used to do these things, I go nuts. And it's like yo-yoing, constantly yo-yoing. Yeah. You know, you'd lose 5 kilos, you'd put on 6, and it's constant. Where what the knowledge that he gave me, don't deny yourself this, track it, but it's based on nutritional value. So we're speaking about calories in a potato. So there's 100 calories in this, there's 100 calories in that donut. Which is the more nutrition values? You know, I'm just saying 100. I know there's not 100 in it. But so I start looking at things of more nutrition as opposed to just calorie count. And thankfully that has worked thanks to him. So he just held me accountable. Now we're just watching it. Weekends, we don't. You know, or Saturday, we don't.
Yeah, have a little bit of leeway, a little bit of...
You need that balance. Otherwise you'll just go off the...
Exactly.
You'll go the wrong way.
Yeah.
Very poor with water. That's what my wife keeps saying. Future wife keeps saying. She has to drill water. She's like a walking tap. She's like 4 liters every day. She's great. That's the one thing now I have to work on.
Hydration. Well, people who listen and are chronically dehydrated, think about your discs are also dehydrated. Your joints are dehydrated. You wearing down. Imagine you're running your car with minimum oil or less than minimum. You know, you can eventually seize it. So, but that's a principle. We you know, the life is formed in water. You know, but now actually talking about that lockdown, and I let myself down as well, to be honest. Fully disclosed that I stopped exercising at the level that I was. I was doing something, but it was not very intense. It was just like kind of just to get me through. I was playing a lot of computer games, especially my racing. I was clocking in 40 hours a week of sim racing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a job in itself.
I got easily 2 seconds per lap faster, which is if you race, that's a lot. Yeah. You know, that's like 1,000 hours later.
I was getting 2 kilos a week on. You were getting 2 seconds.
I was getting faster actually, and what I wanted to say is then same thing. I was very, very disappointed. I look at myself in the mirror. I was like, I was getting the chub, and I'm like, this has to stop. This has to stop. And I started to do body combat. I was doing some sort of functional training in the park, and I actually eventually got so really strong. I would do 1.5 of body combat, and I would do it 3 days in a row, to the point a few weeks later I injured my shoulder from overuse. So then I had to pull back a little bit, split the workouts a little bit better, not to get too greedy. So from under training to overtraining, you know. So again, I'd say when people go,
but it's okay for that to happen. I think that's what people need to realize. You're allowed to fall off. Yeah. You're allowed to go, shit, you know, look what's that happened to me. The thing is to catch it, realize it, and work on it. Yeah. Don't let it drift off too far. And I'd say we need a structure. We need some sort of future security that the life goes on. Yeah. Because like the world is a funny place these days, you know. And very funny. You don't know what to plan for the next half year because you don't know if you can travel, you know. And like a lot of things change. And I think we still fully don't realize how it messed up young people, and how everybody is actually going through it. We don't fully yet know what's going to be the results of it, but I definitely feel like having a
good nutrition, good sleep, exercise, having community, have some purpose in your life will actually get you kind of focus on here and now, what you can do with what you have. And
for me, though, it was also Sophie, though. So, when Sinead obviously got pregnant, and, I want to be able to run after this kid. I want to be able to play. I don't want to be that dad sitting in the corner. Come on, Dad, come play with me, and go, I'll give me a minute. I don't want to be that dad. As an older father.
So how old are you? Sorry if I can.
47.
47?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I look 21.
You worked.
I acted. Well, I act 15. Young heart, all that. But yeah, I just, again, when a kid comes along, it's like you want to be the best for that kid. You want to be able to run. You want to be able to catch, do childish stuff, roll around, and not be sitting in the corner. Like, miss out on so much stuff. So it's like, get your shit together. Put that down. Or if you're going to have it, exercise first. Don't deny yourself. Exercise, then you can have it.
Now, Philip, what are your favorite exercises, and then why?
Favorite exercise is sitting down watching TV.
Good joke. Now, tell me the truth.
Just loads. I mean,
if you have to pick just 3 exercises.
See, again, for me, it's a lot of classes stuff. Like, I love the martial arts side of stuff.
And why is that so?
Just relief of tension. Endorphins, it just makes me smile. I know it's martial arts, but it's just that feel you get with it. I mean, if you were talking about gym-based stuff, you'd be talking, say, obviously a proper deadlift, a good squat, good compound exercises that you don't have to be there for, 2 hours working out. You can get in and out in a half hour. Good heavy compound exercises. I mean, classes for me, instructing and being there with the people is my favorite, because I love being part of that. I love seeing people smile. I love them going out, God, I feel great. Not, oh my God, I'm knackered. I feel great after that. So that's my favorite.
In fairness, actually, classes have something special in it. I always train harder with class.
It's the members.
Yeah, I mean, in the gym on its own, okay, I can push myself. I love kickboxing. I love punching, kicking bag. And then when it comes to weights, I have a tendency recently, maybe last couple of years, to not enjoy it as much as I used to when I was younger. And if I would do a gym session, I prefer to have a friend with me and we chat a little bit. So it's a bit of social training, and I love it. My friend Sean, we used to train like this for 1.5 hours. He used to be my client, and then we became good friends and started hiking together, and then train on Fridays. But he moved, I moved as well, so we kind of. He's on the north side of the city. I'm very south of the city, so it's very hard now. But that's why I love classes, because like. The more people in the class, the more energy there is. And that is giving me a buzz,
But you're very good at getting to know the members. Like, I remember we were walking in one day and you seen 2 members walking through the car park, and they've been in my classes, but you went straight away knew their names. Like, and then I just thought, wow, I've got to up my game, which I thought was a great thing. So it was good for me to see that. Like, you're very personal in classes. You spend the time talking.
Oh yeah,
like people.
That's why I always end up so late coming home.
I know somebody came over to me there the other day and said, "Oh, my husband was talking to Oto and he was talking about Bitcoin and stuff." I said, "Yeah, that's Oto. Yeah. You know Oto, and cars. He loves cars. Yeah, But you have that community within.
Yeah, and people. I've been managing to attract people quite easily. I don't know what it is, but I really like, I don't judge people. And, somebody can say about something like, oh, he's such a douche. And, I would never have that experience with them. For me, they will be interesting people because I don't have problems with them.
You do flip things very easily.
If I have a complicated client or complicated member that I deal with, I try to connect with them on certain level and then bring it up from there. Rather than looking at the conflict, I'm trying to look for solutions.
But you can do that in a class as well as you're instructing.
You have to adapt. Yeah. Next thing it will be like terrorist negotiation. I'm joking.
Well, there is a war happening, isn't there?
But I think it takes a certain kind of skill to be able to almost like intuitively connect with the other person on different level than just the language. And we all have certain needs, and we all have our own, blockages or kind of certain ways which we are messed up. Maybe the growing up, maybe few traumas.
Well,
which
we all carry a bit of baggage.
Makes us neurotic. Yeah, that's why what can we do today now to help it, or how to move on from this is what happened to me 15 years. Yeah, that was 15 years ago. Yeah, it's 2022. Move on.
That's actually called when I done my life coaching kind of stuff.
You did?
Yeah.
We have more topics. I was thinking you have to wrap this guy up in 5 minutes. Okay, half an hour later.
They call it backpack syndrome.
Yeah.
So
what is it?
they kind of say that if you have a backpack and you've got bricks. So this is how they actually done it with us, and we had to say there was 5 bricks, and each brick we had to write what our problem was and tape it to the brick, and we had to put it into the backpack and carry that around. So they wanted to show you how much physically that was weighing you down. So then they teach you little tricks on how to, you don't take the backpack off, you take one brick out at a time. So you deal with one situation once, then you go to the next and next and next. So that was a really good way of actually doing it. So
that's cool.
Visual, it was good because I'm a more visual learner. So I thought, that really works for me.
Something clicked, yeah. I think every coach should have some sort of fundamentals of psychology and life coaching and all that stuff. And it's very accessible these days. You can just go on YouTube and go like life coaching. You could possibly find someone who is the most, millions of followers, and you go, well, I guess that guy or a lady, they know the stuff, and you can actually learn. So, but I'd say we live in a really interesting era because, like I said it before in my podcast, like I was born in Czechoslovakia under Soviet Union occupied Czechoslovakia in 82. And so for the first 7 years of my life, we have communism, and you couldn't buy certain books. Not that I would want to buy certain books while I was 7, but then later on when I was a teenager, I realized what the heck it was. And I spoke a lot with my granny. So now, it's amazing what you can access today like this. Just talk to your phone. Okay, Google. And my phone goes on and it goes on straight ahead. And I can talk to the AI and ask questions. And if, it's amazing how easy it is to have an instant answer from a smart machine.
I definitely think, though, the likes of life coaching should be brought into schools. I think they need to catch the seed early to develop them in the correct way.
Yeah, rather than fixing adults.
Yeah. I mean, adults are, kids are sponge.
Yeah.
Definitely bringing into schools some sort. It doesn't have to be life coaching, but some sort of guidings in it.
Principles, yeah. And same, I think it's with the exercise and how we carry our posture and how we understand the movement, And so we had a lot of athletics in the school, and I loved it. It's cool, but nobody ever taught the technique, how to make it better. Just like, okay, well, if you're gifted and you got it, you'll be running faster, you'll be jumping higher, but nobody ever went into nitty-gritty, deep details of how to have your whole lifestyle better, like nutrition, sleep, and additional exercises. Dealing with injuries, non-existent. So, like me as going through my teenage to be, let's say, 20, 22 years old, then I started to get injuries. I had no idea what to do. I was absolutely uneducated in the physio world of rehab. I had no idea.
But even now, like with everything that's out there, with the, you see these guys in movies, doing martial arts and stuff, even now in the schools, with everything that's so accessible, it's still very poor in schools for the PE classes. The PE teachers are doing their best. It's not their fault, but they should be implementing more exercise into schools. The school that I went to everything was rugby. Rugby is a fantastic game. Back then I wasn't interested in it because I was interested in martial arts. But if you weren't in it, you weren't in it. You weren't part of it. Where there should be a much, much wider range. And like you said, nutrition talks, injury prevention, rehab, all that should be included in schools because it's life.
Yeah, well, education. I remember I've seen some young mom feeding a little baby on crisps and drinking Coke. I was like, dear Lord, that's just, it shows how, the lack of education, and you can't preach people of, obviously, and it's a certain type of people who possibly don't understand the damage the baby will have being on crisps and Coke at that very young age.
I'll let you into another little part of it. I actually done justeat.ie for a little bit just to get extra money for stuff that was coming in. What is it? Just Eat. Yeah.
Just Eat. Mm-hmm.
You know, the way you order food.
Yeah.
And oh wow, the amount of people ordering McDonald's was on. There's nothing wrong with McDonald's. McDonald's is what it is, but people were ordering at 11 o'clock. I mean, 25 quid's worth of McDonald's. That's a lot of food.
You mean PM? 11 p.m. or in the morning?
No, PM.
PM.
Yeah, like crazy. Yeah,
like
and they lived
big meal for the midnight.
No, sorry, in the afternoon. So they literally lived, I'm going to say, quarter of a kilometer away. So you were delivering from there to there, still in their pajamas, and they were ordering. Like, I was going, wow. So like that, they just hadn't a clue what they're eating, and lack of education. It's not their fault.
But even that food is addictive. It is.
And it's cheap.
And you said like there's nothing wrong with it. I would actually argue and say, look, if you have an oil which is trans fat already, which is inflammatory, or if it's plant-based oil and they fry on that oil for multiple times, maybe whole shift.
Well, when I say nothing wrong with it,
that means
in moderation.
Yeah, exactly. So all I'm saying is like if you eat that kind of fried food with the damaged oils, you increase your inflammation, creating chronic inflammation. And we know now that most of the diseases sort of thrive from this sort of inflamed state of the body.
So the Big Mac that's out there, I'm going to throw out, do I?
Well, people put priorities. We live in democracy, and you can choose. You can go to Happy Pear and have a nice little, vegetarian meal and have a nutritious vegetable.
But healthy food's so expensive, and that's why people tend to go. Like a lot of the stuff, you go in and buy fruit and stuff. It's expensive compared to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like you buy a burger at McDonald's for €1.
Yep.
You won't get it.
I have a theory. I think the elites really want to kill the poor people.
I'm glad you said that.
I think they subsidize this bad food, so they depopulate them. And then eventually these people become sick and become a quite good profit for pharma companies as well.
But again, they're not doing any favors to the hospitals. But they're not though. It just doesn't make sense.
Everybody wants to sell their own products, but it is a problem. You can see it in I think in USA it's quite big, especially if you have like say minorities and they don't have as much income, and it boils. And not only there, but poor countries, they have actually quite a big obesity as well, because these fattening foods are actually so cheap. They're more accessible.
Massive. Like you just click a button on your phone, it's there.
Yeah, you say the good food is expensive. It is true. Yeah.
Now, I do see a lot more places now coming on board, like you're saying, like the likes of the Happy Pear, even Camille Thai, healthy Thai foods. It is getting a little bit more accessible, but there's still, they need to flip something with this.
At the end of the day, it's people cooking at home. It's their own education in their families, the husbands and wives, and how you, especially when you have kids, how you lead by an example. So if you have a habit of having a big meal soaked in oil, and then you have ice cream after that, and you sit and watch TV for the next 3 hours, guess what? Your kids will pick that up as a standard. This is the default.
Well, we've Sophie already on broccoli. She's having a potato. She was having cauliflower. She's already on the stuff.
Yeah.
Like we pretty well, basic but well.
Yeah.
Like 70% greens.
Does it make you a little more aware that you have a child there, and what you choose is also important for her development? So you're more responsible, maybe? No,
Sinead was always very, very much greens. She's the one that kind of changed me to look at it, because I just don't like them. So we just start cooking them different ways.
Making more
roasting them
for you.
Like just roasting. they weren't like, you weren't drinking your vegetables, you were actually enjoying them. Like it wasn't, I have to eat this. And now, like, I mean, anything we eat now, Sophie does eat. Like she was there the other day eating little bits of what we ate, little bits of chicken and stuff like that. So she is going to eat. So we're going to educate her the way we weren't. So we're going to change that. I mean, Sinead grew up on a farm, so she was fairly educated. You know, she literally ate from the ground. She drank the milk from the cows. You know, the eggs came straight from the, you know.
But you know what they say these days? That's the healthiest way of doing it, because you know, you get the most nutritious foods. It supports you. It gives you the immune system, and you know, you like can connect it with the nature.
There's no crap in it. It's just,
it's all organic.
Proper stuff.
Yeah. We had that as well when we were kids. Everything we had a big garden, so I actually feel like a farmer myself, because even though we live in an apartment block, it was like a mile exactly, 1,600 meters to go to Granny's garden. So we would cycle. You can get it in 5-10 minutes, depends if you rush or not.
The way you cycle.
Trust me, I can cycle fast. But we would work, and a big garden takes loads of time. My mom actually,
it's hard work.
She's accountant, and she finishes work, and when it's season, when she needs to go and water the plants, she has to go for 2 or 3 hours. 2 hours to work easily to dig some weeds and water the plants, because if you have 37 degrees on the sun,
it's got to be watered.
And if it's not rainy for 2 weeks, you have to water it. It will die off quickly.
It's a really good program. Jeremy Clarkson on Prime. He bought a farm. You know Jeremy Clarkson, the car. It's brilliant. It's just if guys haven't watched it, it's a must watch.
What is it about?
He buys a farm and he has to work on it, and he has a farmer there helping him. It is brilliant. It's just comical, but it just shows you the amount of work that goes into having a farm.
Of course. Yeah, it's a hard job. On a spring and spring and autumn, you have to flip the soil. So
there's a lot of topics we're covering today. We're going from martial arts to farming to
We'll see where we go.
Just as well you've got body pump soon.
40 minutes.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to talk about? You want to ask?
What made you start podcasting?
I wanted to challenge myself, and I always wanted to talk to cool people, and I wanted to record it as well, because actually selfishly I'm learning from this. It's
called positively selfish.
Exactly. That's how I see it. But it was a challenge. It had to it pushed me out there to do it, and I wouldn't be doing podcasts every week. Like around December, I haven't done anything for a month. But then January comes, and in 2 weeks, I had 3 podcasts. Now I have 1 podcast a week or 2 podcasts a week. And I just wanted to share something and add value to my clients who regularly listen to my podcast, because I always try to sort of share my philosophy, my knowledge. But not only that, but also add to a lot of knowledge from other people, the stuff that I don't know. And it's not also my first language, it's 4th language. So
show off.
So
I'm going to teach you Dublin. It's totally different English.
I know. So I wanted to also get other people to explain it in the proper terms,
Dublin.
Exactly. It was a story, buddy.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. No, actually, I live on the south of Dublin, and you don't hear the dub accent there too much, to be honest. And you can hear when people are educated, they don't have this kind of like a knackers accent. You know where people are from when you hear them speaking.
You've probably lost about half your followers now saying that.
Well, I think most of my followers will be on the south side as well. And no, I'm joking now. But the podcasts are there for capturing some valuable information and let it live like my legacy.
Definitely podcasts are definitely the way to go. Like that, like you said with Google, there's nothing you don't need to know. And podcasts are definitely the way to go to educate yourself, to understand if you're feeling bad, that you're not alone. If it's there.
Yeah.
Touch of a button.
And you know what? I listened to podcasts for years. Joe Rogan, the Chris Willicks, and I listened a little bit of Jordan Peterson. There was Dr. Rhonda Patrick. There was another guys. I get bored of people. Yeah. I pick a couple of topics that I have, and then after a while I move on. And so I learned that for me, I like to listen. I drive a lot between clients, 2 clients. And then when I'm off completely, I go to these long 3-4 hour cruises to the mountains. And I'm listening many times my own podcasts and just getting that sort of deep insights of like, wow, that was cool. Some of the moments that every of my, guest brought, there was like some aha moments for me. I was like, wow, that's profound. So that's why I do it. This is why I do it.
You definitely get something out when you listen, re-listen. You'll always pick up something different.
Yeah. And sometimes, I might not even be in a good mood. I might be listening to music, but I don't really feel like, I listen to a podcast and it brings my focus. It makes me forget if I have a trouble. Let's say if I'm not feeling as optimistic in my head, something going on, let's say, and the whole conversation, podcast topic brings me away from it. Yeah. So in a way, it's relaxing and refocusing on the main thing. So, that's the stuff, really.
It's the stuff of champions.
Exactly. And we are lucky of the technology because now you can do podcasts with very minimum equipment. You can buy 20-year microphones. You can have a easy device to record in, and you can record on your phone.
But it's using technology in the right way.
Yeah, using the right way, and basically there's lots of platforms where like Anchor.fm. It's one of those that are being recommended, and from there it goes everywhere. All the podcasts like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify and other stuff. And then also put it on YouTube because some people like watching it. So YouTube 4K, that's the new standard. And then you have all the podcasts, and then basically attract people who are into that type of topic. So you never know where it's gonna be in the next 5 years.
I know where you're going to be. You're going to be a millionaire. I keep saying this.
Because of the crypto.
Because of crypto. Exactly. This gentleman has taught me crypto. He took time out of his day to teach me. Now I've lost a lot. But it's coming back.
This is the thing. When you invest into crypto and you're zooming in and you're looking at the minute charts and you're looking at the 1 hour charts, all you see is noise. Yeah. There's nothing of value to look at that unless you do like really quick trading that you buy and sell in a couple of hours.
No, your help was great. Like it was really
you
good.
have to always zoom out. I don't look anything lower than 1 day candles, and I try to look at the trends in the long term. And you never know if there's upswing or downswing. Nobody can see the future. There's always a lot of variables. So my advice for anyone investing is just to buy when it drops significantly, like 50 to 70% drop from all-time high or so from a local high. Buy it there, leave it there, don't stress about it, leave it there for at least a year, maybe 2, maybe 5, maybe 10.
This is helping you get your new car, isn't it?
No, it's not. No. It's not actually, and it's 2 days left.
2 days left for your new car.
Yeah, the Lexus ES 300H, and so it's first. No, it's just I do a lot of personal trainings.
Yeah. I know I see your schedule. You are a hard worker,
and man, I can tell you at €60 per hour, you see the world different way. Like having like so much more abundance. And I always was driven to not money, but abundance, to be able to get, I don't care about money. I just want things.
Yeah.
If I wanted a road racing bicycle, I want to have...
You want to have the money to be able to go and get
I want
that.
to have the money, and it always goes with extra gear. Like you go into sport, a certain type of hobby.
Extras.
You need extras, and you want quality extras. So, like if you look at it this way, capitalism it's a numbers game. If you can generate more money, per hour, you free yourself from that sort of rat race slavery of manual labor, how people have to go through these low paid jobs and barely paying for the bills. And I've been there.
It's taken that step.
And I've been there before because in Slovakia, I used to work for €1.50 per hour. So my summer salary was €300 a month, and my winter salary was 400. And, like if you want to buy a car, if you want to buy a phone or computer, it's the same price like here in Ireland.
You do appreciate things there. Like when I started off hairdressing, I started on £26 a week. So that, that's old Irish money, £26. Your card for your bus was £10. And I had to give my mother £5 housekeeping. So she got she educated me with money. You got it back. Mom, can I have, £2? You end up probably getting, the 5 back. But she was this is what you hand up. Like I was 16 on £26, but it was here. But I only have 6. Make it work, or work for it. So we ended up getting 2-3 jobs.
Yeah, well, it's in everybody's hands, like you have to always zoom out.
Yeah.
Look at the big picture. If you want to arrive somewhere, you have to start taking course. Like if you have a sailboat or yacht, you have to correct the direction where you're going, or maybe turn on the engine and push yourself forward. So skills. People can have 2 jobs. People can have 3 jobs, but you don't have to do full time each of them. Like I really swung into the multiple jobs with following my passion. So I love photography, I love videography, and I love new challenges and new equipment as well. So it's every equipment I buy, I have to learn it, and that I love learning about my new equipment and what I can do with it.
Oh, I know.
It's like a technological wizardry, because like to be able to fully extract the max potential from every equipment you get for every.
I know, but you did build your own computer.
Well, I didn't build the parts, but I put them together. Yeah.
You did.
But I tell you a funny story. We were in high school. I was maybe 15, I guess, 16. I could have been 16 that time. We had the IT lessons in school, and it was absolutely boring because I already had a PC. I had the more, like the ZX Spectrum equivalent before Ataris and Commodore 64.
That was my first computer.
We had a ZX Spectrum equivalent called Didactic M, and that was sort of Czechoslovakian built on that platform of ZX Spectrum.
48K, 8-bit.
Whatever, yeah. Black and
calculators are more...
Yeah, exactly. Your phone is now like a million times stronger than what it was back then. But we were... Already as 15 years old, we put together our first computer with my brother. One friend came. We ordered every part, all the RAMs, all the power source, and CPU, GPU, motherboard, case, everything we put together, install software, and there we go, running. And then 1 or 2 years later, I was in a class, IT class, where the teacher finished her high school in IT before the PCs came. Okay. So she was outdated already on her knowledge. And basically they were learning how to close and maximize Windows. I'm like, get me out of here. Step
aside.
So what I was doing, I was basically... I was using antivirus to clean up their computers and stuff like that.
So you took over.
Basically, I had my own class. I was
15.
I was putting the CD there with a world's encyclopedia, and so it was actually very cool. You can see like Africa, you can see Asia, you can go into like traditions and sounds, and it was like very educational for. Back then, it was pretty cool. But it just shows how, the technology, you don't have to necessarily, you can go ahead of your curve. If you're passionate about something. Look at Elon Musk. He's a freaking genius.
He is a genius.
He's a weirdo, but every
genius weirdo.
Every
he's definitely not from this planet.
Every genius had to have some kind of weirdness in them. They have some kind of obsessive stuff.
It's just gas that you mentioned CDs there. So how quick things go obsolete. So I was teaching with Ruby, as you know, and we were talking about our releases, and I said we used to get these on a tape, and like Ruby's like 20, 24, 25. She goes, Philip, what's a tape? Get off. Get out.
VHS.
She hadn't a clue.
I don't even know what that means. Some video and HS, something system.
It means if you don't rewind it when you bring it back to the video store, you got a fine.
Exactly.
Betamax.
Yeah. But definitely what I see is that how we moved in the last 15 years since smartphones. Smartphones really enhanced us, and now we have smartwatches. Yeah. We're going to have augmented reality in glasses. So let's say if I have my glasses here in my corner, I can see GPS navigation or reading a page,
Sure, it's on the cars now, like on the windscreen. Yeah. Where you can see the speedometer.
Projector, yeah. So I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we're also going to see, because technology accelerates. It's going more exponential. So let's say, there was actually a really cool saying from Peter Russell, I think. Maybe not Russell. I think it was Russell. From UK, some kind of professor. And this was like before his time. He was saying how the agricultural era lasted thousands of years. Then you had the industrial revolution that lasted only 75 years. Then you have information technology that lasted only 25 years. And then he said the next one is mind to mind. Okay. It's like these ecosystems of living organisms. And he said like the next connection is the mind to mind.
Wow.
And look at the, Facebook, for example. That's mind to mind.
Yeah.
Social media, Instagram. It's like you reading some of these, like videos, for example. That's mind to mind as well. Connection, and it's instant as well. So we're moving ahead. And so I'm curious to see what's the next text coming up. So
it's a lot of content in this podcast.
Yeah. No, let's wrap it up with the last question, and then I have to get ready for my body pump class and spirit class. So do you have some life philosophy?
Philosophy. It is just have fun. Leave shit behind you. Have fun. Live every day. Myself and Sinead, like obviously with the baby, and we've been chipping at each other a little bit, and we always say that we never go to bed on a bad note. So it's always sit down. So now we start writing each other notes again, little things like that. So little small things. You don't have to do big gestures. Little things like that work for me and her.
Cool. Thank you so much. And where can our listeners and viewers find you? You on Instagram, Facebook?
Philip133.
Philip133.
133 Instagram. That's the only one I'm on.
Perfect.
And LinkedIn.
Cool. All right, Philip. Thanks so much for sharing the cool information with me. And
thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
See you later.